Michael Buckeye here with the Man Hour. Sort of to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. But it is Week 14 NFL. We got Dallas taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Put some respect on the name today. We're going to talk about the Denver Broncos take on the Chargers. What? That's a good game, right? We got the Colts take on the Bengals. We got the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. What in the world? But first, and now, Mike's thoughts. Man Hour Nation, Man Hour Nation, Man Hour Nation. The NIL deal is going to ruin the NFL. The NIL deal is going to make bad teams bad year after year after year. Year after year after year, it is just going to get worse, worse, and worse. When we think about this, there are big name players out there, right? You got Caleb Williams. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., right? All those players are reportedly interested in going back to college because they don't want to play for the Chicago Bears. Those players are interested of going back to the college game because they don't want to play for the New England Patriots. The NIL deal is single-handedly going to make the NFL more than likely a bad product. Now, let me take a step back on that. Now, when I say a bad product, it just means that teams like the Houston Texans will not get better overnight, like they did last season and in the draft. Teams like the Chicago Bears are not going to get better overnight because if said player does not want to go to said team, you know what, man? I'm making $2, $3, $4, $12 million in college. I'll go ahead and do that. Screw your Chicago Bears. Hell, maybe if I get lucky, I'll tank my junior year or senior year, right? And drop down to second round pick. Go to the Dallas Cowboys. Go to the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, the NIL deal, guys, is single-handedly going to make the NFL a less valuable product, right? Because right now, there is a lot of parity happening in the NFL. That is because of the draft. Let's just be flat honest. Without the draft, the Houston Texans would be a shit show still, right? Without CJ Stroud and their defensive end, his name is slipping my mind. But without those two players, the Houston Texans would be irrelevant right now. The NIL deal, guys, face it, is going to destroy the NFL game. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Choo-choo. You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeye here with the Man Hour NFL Talk. Over to manhourradio.com. Guys, check out the blog section right now. We got some blogs that are dropping each and every day over there. And today's Friday, so that means we're going to do a lot of game preview blogs over there today. So if you are interested of how I think the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles is going to play out, and you're going to miss the show, bada bing, bada boom, head over to manhourradio.com and check out the blog section. Of course, we are going to try to get every team out there in the next 2 days. But also, guys, most importantly right now, go over to Discord. The link is in the description. Go over to Discord and join our Discord. We are streaming live games over there. If you did not have Amazon Prime, you could have watched the game over there at Discord for free. Patriots versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you got to welcome some people into the chat here. We got John Peoples in the chat. He says, good morning. Good morning to you, John. He says, Pittsburgh sucked last night. They need a quarterback terribly. My rant was going to actually be about the Pittsburgh Steelers. My rant was going to be about the old Pittsburgh Steelers and their quarterback situation. Actually, it was going to be more about those fans. Were you guys listening to the game last night? Those fans were booing everybody. Those fans were not happy about nothing. But Mr. Trubisky's not a bad quarterback, guys. Slow it down. Mr. Trubisky is not that bad. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Buck, what? You are full of shit, right? You're full of shit. No, I'm not full of shit. It is what it is. Hoffy's in the chat, says, what's up, Man Hour Nation? Thank God it's Friday. Said, did I miss the cut today? Hoffy, I sent you the link and you never popped in, man. I had to start the show. Start the show. John says, last time Mr. Trubisky was terrible. He wasn't. Mr. Trubisky's a backup quarterback. What do you expect? You expect him to lead you to the promised land? Come on. Pittsburgh Steelers are just not a very good football team. Every time we start to buy stock into the Pittsburgh Steelers, they shit the bed. They shit the bed. I think that's Spanish. That's Spanish for the Steelers are not making the playoffs. Stick a fork in them. They're done. They're currently out of the playoff race, and they're done. Hoffy, I sent you a new link. I'll do it right now. Open up this OBS guest. Type in poop, because that's our room name. It's poop. Poopity poop, poop, poop. But, guys, it is time for some live, raw, uncut NFL talk today, as I am multitasking because Hoffy's never on time. But we are going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, the Denver Broncos taking on the Chargers. This is a very huge game for both teams, actually. Very, very big game. We're going to talk about the Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This game is bigger than we want to play out. Butter them up and call them toast, says John. Butter them up and call them toast. But guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's show. Let's go ahead and jump in. Be sure to hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, you are wrong. Do so, please, right now. Hoffy, I'm stalling as low as I can. Kick the damn link. Jesus, Hoffy's over on this, man. We'll be right back in a second. You're in, Hoffy. There you go. He's still looking all dumbfounded. He's still looking like, oh, and then he wants to leave him. Hoffy. This guy. All right, guys, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he wants to jump back in thinking it's all gravy. You think it's all gravy, Hoffy? You can just jump in and tune in whenever you want. Now I got to go back to this blank. And then hope it works this time. Oh, my God, there's the ugliest man on podcast right there, John Hoffman. What's up, Hoffy? Now he's going to look all dumbfounded again. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I can't see you. I don't know if I'm on or not.
Just talk.
I am talking.
Without a microphone? This guy. What are you
About
new?
that.
What are you new?
Somewhat. I'm still trying to wake up, apparently. Leave me alone.
Well, Hoffy, welcome to the show, man. I see you are wearing Patriots colors today.
No.
Uh-oh. I see that.
And our nation colors.
There you go. Yeah, repping the American flag. That was our 4th of July merch last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. But you as a Patriots fan, Hoffy, let's talk about last night's game. Are you satisfied with the Patriots winning last night?
Yeah, sure.
That was the dumbest thing they could have done. Let's just be honest. The Patriots winning.
I do agree.
Go ahead.
I do agree, and they jumped off to a hot start, and then it looked like they were trying everything they could possibly do to to tank that game away. Um, I mean, but for whatever reason, the Patriots have owned the Steelers over the years. I did feel that they were going to win. I know I picked against them because that's just I'm at the point where it's a win-win situation. I choose Patriots to lose. I look good. If they do win, I'm happy because my team won, but I am at the point now where, do I actually even want the team to win or do we want to tank? But to your point with the rant that you went on, does it really matter? Because it looks like, players like Marvin Harrison are going to stay at Ohio State University and make $25 million to, play college. Caleb Williams has come out saying he wants ownership or he's not playing for any team except for, the few teams that he said. So, I mean, even if we end up with a high draft pick, are we going to get anything good? Or is Bill Belichick going to pull a Bill Belichick and trade it for, a 12-pack of soda and 5, 7th-round picks? So it's I'm not sure where we're going with this whole season. So I'll take a win. A win is a win, but they should probably just tank the season at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like Bill Belichick was kind of coaching for his life last night. Let's just be honest, because I feel like he has been on the hot seat for a while now. Has he ever coached a team to like a 2-15 season? I don't think so. I think he's always had at least 5 wins, right? 6 wins in his coaching career as a Patriots coach. So he was definitely fighting for that. Hey, I'm still the guy. I'm still the genius. I'm still the man, the myth, the legend. But let's just be honest, Hoffy, you as a Patriots guy, you know this. Year after year after year, Bill Belichick trades out of the first round, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a 5th overall pick or a 10th overall pick or the 1st overall pick. He's going to trade that pick, get some 12, 13, 3rd or 4th round picks out of it, and then he's going to trade back up into the 1st round and draft a Cole Strange that he could have gotten the 7th round. That's just what he's been doing, and he's been successful at it.
I was hoping you weren't going to go there.
Well, they were talking about the right guard last night that they drafted in the 2nd round last year, and I was looking. I'm like, I don't even remember this guy's name. But he was projected to go in the 5th round. So you guys got 2 offensive linemen that you moved up in the draft to go get that you could have gotten the 4th and the 5th round respectively.
Yeah, and the offensive line is still our biggest weakness.
Right.
And that's where we're spending all our draft capital. So tells you how good of a GM Bill Belichick is.
So Jim says Trubisky is greater than Pickett. Better than Pickett, huh? I don't know.
They both suck.
And John's asking the question, Mr. Hofstetter there. Didn't Bill Belichick coach in Cleveland? I don't think he was a head coach, right? He wasn't the head coach in Cleveland.
Yes, no, he was a head coach in Cleveland.
Oh, that's right. He did, and he got fired and got hired by the Patriots. I do remember that vaguely.
He got fired and he got hired by the Jets, and then he wrote on a napkin to the Jets that he wasn't going to be their coach.
Yeah, about that. About that. All right, guys, let's get into some Week 14 talk here. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the New England Patriots last night. Whoopsie daisy. But let's talk about a little bit about NFC. Let's talk the game of the year. I mean, we've been talking about games of the year seems like every week. 49ers versus the Eagles. But this week is Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles. Week 14 matchup comes down to this, right? Eagles versus Cowboys. The winner probably wins the division. So, I got to think when I wrote down this game, when I said I wanted to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys, who really needs this win more? Who needs this win more? And the obvious answer would be the Dallas Cowboys, right? The Dallas Cowboys need this win to get in front of the NFC East and do this and do that. But the correct answer is the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles need this win more because if they do not win this game versus the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, they have a potential to lose 4 games in a row. They have the potential to not be clicking very well when they go into the playoffs. They got beat down by the 49ers. Everybody has, right? Except for the Browns, Bengals, and Vikings. Everybody else physically out-manhandled by the San Francisco 49ers. Now, if the Eagles lose to the Dallas Cowboys, I can see it now. The refs did this, the refs did that, whatever, right? But if they do not beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, they play a Monday Night Football game versus the Philadelphia Eagles. That's probably going to be a loss as well. Then you have 3 losses in a row. Then you play a division opponent at home, kind of like, man, Christmas Day afternoon, I just want to be home with my family versus the New York Giants. That could very well sneak up and bite you in the ass as well. Another loss. So, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles need this win more over the Dallas Cowboys. This game is more important for the Philadelphia Eagles because the Dallas Cowboys are making the playoffs either way, right? They're pretty much a lock. They're pretty much a lock to make the playoffs at this particular point. Now, if they go on a 5-game losing streak, obviously that's not going to happen. But right now, they're pretty much a lock. They have no expectations of being the first overall seed or division winner at that particular point. The Philadelphia Eagles need this win more. Hoffy, when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who do you think needs this win more?
I don't want to agree with you, but I mean, I think both teams are going to obviously benefit from home field advantage. But the Cowboys got beat down in Levi Stadium. The Eagles got beat down by the 49ers at their home field. So I think it's going to be difficult for the Eagles, if they don't have home field advantage, to go into Santa Clara and think that they have any shot of redeeming themselves. Whereas the Cowboys can chalk it up as we weren't here. We had everything kind of going against us. So, yeah, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that benefits from playing in nasty games, nasty weather. I think it's going to be a lot harder for a team like Philadelphia to beat Dallas in Dallas or beat Santa Clara, beat the 49ers in Santa Clara than it is to play the 49ers in a nasty, wet, cold, game that you're going to get in January in Philadelphia. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles, to benefit their style of play, need this win more, personally, but to each their own.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, right? Their style of play is gritty, grind it out, and what better place to do that in a mud bowl, right? How do you slow down a team like the San Francisco 49ers? Put them in the mud, right? We used to do that back in high school. Every time we knew we had a fast-ass team coming into like town, we let the grass grow a little bit. The grass might be 4 inches instead of 2 inches.
Keep the sprinklers on.
Yeah, just slow them down just a little bit. But we got Jameson in the chat, and he says, if the Cowboys lose, they are not a contender. Hoffy?
You've also said this, too, a couple weeks ago. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. So.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, the Eagles have already beaten the Cowboys once this season. If they go into Dallas and they beat them again, how are the Dallas Cowboys not a contender at that particular point? Because if we would look at the playoff picture, let me pull it up. The Cowboys right now are sitting at the fifth seed, right? Right now they are on pace to play the Atlanta Falcons in the first round. That is a first round win. I don't care who NFC South team they play. If it's the Bucks, if it's the Saints, if it's the Falcons, the Cowboys are going to be favored in that particular game. It is what it is, right? Now, on the flip side of that coin, how are the Cowboys not contenders, right? It doesn't make sense to me. So just because you lose to one of the best teams in the NFC ultimately makes you not a contender? What? Hoffy, can you somehow make justification of what Jameson is trying to say here?
If the Cowboys lose, they're not a contender. I mean, the Cowboys are, what's their record? They have, 4 losses now?
Yeah.
So 2 of them being, the top 2 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, realistically, with their record, provided they're not going to end up, right now, they're not winning their division, so they would be a wild card spot. But they're basically have the third best record in the NFC.
Right.
To lose twice to the Eagles, a division foe, I don't think that doesn't make you necessarily a contender. I mean, I think it will be tough if they lose, it's going to be tough to go into Philadelphia and beat Philly. It's going to be tough to go to Santa Clara and beat the 49ers. But you also got to think the 49ers were the Cowboys were 6 inches away from winning that game against the Eagles. So, it's going to be, we've seen it with the Patriots when Rex Ryan was with the Jets and such. We beat them both times in the regular season, and then we lost to the Jets in the playoffs. It is you put 2 games on paper, you're able to dissect that and kind of come up with weaknesses and your strengths. It's going to be tough to beat any team, twice, never mind 3 times. So if you lose twice, I almost think that gives you the advantage, really. But
right. Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. But guys, the phone lines are officially open, 434-468-1234. If you want to call in and talk about some NFL talk, feel free to call in. You will call into Hoffy. He'll get your name. He'll bring you on to the show, and bada bing, bada boom. We can talk whatever you want to talk about if it's NFL, obviously. So Jim says, as horrible as this season is for most, then have been winning for a while. I love the competition this year until week 18, I believe. So Jim basically says nobody is safe until the playoffs start. And Jim, I agree with you. I've been loving the competition this year. I mean, granted, it makes us look like idiots when we're picking games. We're like, oh, put a fork in the freaking Bengals, and they come back and they win versus the Jaguars. Like, what is going on? Jaguars go to the Super Bowl, and then the Steelers go into the playoffs, right? And then they lose to a 2-10 Patriots team, and then a 2-9 Arizona Cardinals team. It is great, right? It is great. John says Eagles are going to win this game. Eagles win, he says. Eagles win, Eagles win. John also says it would mean that Dallas was Philly's biatch. Listen, I don't think this game, Hoffy, this game is more important for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's just be honest. I think when you look down into it, this game is all the pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles because they were 10-1 just last week, and now all of a sudden they are 10-2, and people are picking them to lose 3, 4, 5 games in a row moving forward. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that is, many people, such as myself, think they've been overrated all season long. They've been playing down to their competition. They have not been able to put a nail in the coffin. John, Jim, Jameson, guys, this game is all about the Philadelphia Eagles. This game is legitimately all about the Philadelphia Eagles. It doesn't matter. Like the Dallas Cowboys can lose 50-0. Well, the Cowboys were supposed to lose. They haven't beat a winning team yet this season, right? The Dallas Cowboys are supposed to lose. The Philadelphia Eagles are supposed to win. This game matters so much more for the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, any thoughts on that, Hoffy?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, the Cowboys a couple weeks ago it seemed like everyone understood, especially the Cowboys, like, it's not likely that we're going to win the division. We're going to be a wild card team. So I think they accepted that, hey, we just need to get into the playoffs. But let's go. I mean, the Cowboys, you go all the way back to week 1. The Patriots at one point went for it on 4th down. If they had taken the points at the end of that game, they had to go for it on 4th down, and the guy only got 1 foot in bounds. A rookie receiver who must have forgotten that you're supposed to get 2 feet in bounds. So they'd taken the points earlier. They could have kicked the field goal. They win that game. So the Eagles start 0-1 in that. I know we're talking, apples and oranges, whatever. The next week they played a Vikings team that at that point in time was not clicking, was not very good. They beat them. They then went and played a Buccaneers team, which has been suspect, all year. Baker Mayfield had 2 good games already. he was down to have a bad game. He did. So they start out 3-0. Then they play the Commanders, which they were losing most of that game. They squeaked that one out. They played the Rams. At that time were not good at all. I don't think they had Cooper Kupp. I don't even know if they had Stafford, but that was another team that was struggling at that point in time. We then had they then played the Jets, and they lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
They then played the Dolphins, who have not beaten a team with a winning record. They beat them. They go against the Commanders. Once again, they struggle against the Commanders. They beat them. They then barely beat the Cowboys by 6 yards. They beat the Chiefs, which they couldn't do shit the entire first half. The Chiefs decided to take the second half off. They won that. They then beat the Bills in an ugly game. We'll call that a legit win but other than that, that is their one legit win where you can honestly say that they deserve that game and they won that game. The rest of they've benefited from a pretty soft schedule. So
yeah, and just to add to your point, I will give you that one win over the Buffalo Bills, but I would throw the Kansas City Chiefs in there too, because they did come out and pitch a second half shutout versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and they were down 17-3 going into the second half. So they definitely did some decent damage there. Do we got a caller, Hoffy, or is that?
I missed call, so I'm going to tell him to call back. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So let me jump back into the comments here, and we will talk. Anna's in the chat. He says, "I called it last night. Steelers, they are who we thought they were." Right? Steelers, damn Steelers. And also says, "I think that Dallas wins, but Philly loses in the playoffs." So, Ann is basically saying that the Dallas Cowboys will beat Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football, but when they play in the playoffs in the divisional championship round or whatever it is called, I guess the second round, right? They will be losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. But guys, the phone lines are officially open here. 434-468-1234 are the phone lines. And it sounds like we do have somebody on the phone here, Hoffy. So who do we got?
He hung up on me.
He hung up on you. L's. L7 loser, right? 1997 just called. But, guys, before we get into the phone lines here, I do think that the Dallas Cowboys can legitimately beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night. I do think the Cowboys have the advantage over the Philadelphia Eagles right now. They definitely have the psyche advantage, right? So, I have 3 ways that the Dallas Cowboys can pull the upset versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 1, the one thing that they need to do is they need to get underneath the skin of the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw the San Francisco 49ers do it, right? Granted, the 49ers were losing their cool as well, but we've seen that the skin has been popped up a little bit on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a little bit easier to get that infection in there. Get in there, talk that smack, right? Get underneath their skin, and bada bing, bada boom, the Eagles will self-implode. With that being said, also, we have to realize that the Philadelphia Eagles have played like 4 primetime games in a row, and they got 3 primetime games coming. They are wore out. They are a team that is wore out. Number 2, expose the weakness of the defense, and that is to run the damn ball. The Eagles' run defense got exposed last week versus the 49ers. I think they ran for like 200 and some odd yards. Ran all over them, up and down the field, back and back and back again. Run the damn ball. Number 3, don't let A.J. Brown catch the ball. Don't let A.J. Brown catch the ball. Don't even let him throw them this like his way. I want you to physically and mentally shut down A.J. Brown. Because we've seen it week 5, I think it was. The Philadelphia Eagles were up like 17 points, and A.J. Brown was throwing a fit on the sideline. I need the damn ball. Don't let him catch the ball. Let him self-implode the team. That's what you got to do. Hoffy, what do you got for us?
We got Big Jim Powell on the line.
What's up, Jim? Can you hear me?
Hey, guys. What's up?
What's going on, Jim?
Hello.
We can hear you, Jim. Go ahead.
Oh, I was sitting here listening, going through the very last dead zone in Kentucky, and I ended up listening to banjo music instead of Buck. But he was trying to get across that the Cowboys are going to get into the playoffs and make this great big run, and everything's going to be all peaches and cream and candy and nuts for Christmas.
I said that.
Every time they get to the first round, it's a complete disaster. How are they going to get past the first round this year? And it can't be how they play the regular season, because they play the regular season terrifically every year, and then first round of the playoffs, they choke like Linda Lovelace in a 70s movie.
All right, so first of all,
Martha Stewart, but
the Dallas Cowboys have won first-round games the last 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, right? The last 2 seasons, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then they did lose to the 49ers in that first-round game in 2021. The biggest downfall for the Dallas Cowboys has been Kellen Moore. What's that?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can't hear us?
I can hear you. I can't hear him.
Huh. Fuck.
I don't know, man.
He can hear me, but he can't hear you.
Tell him that Kellen Moore was the issue.
Kellen Moore was the issue.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Oh, but for the last 7 years. Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, Kellen Moore has been the issue. Kellen Moore has been the issue over and over again.
Now. I can start listening again. I just wanted to make that point that does it matter if you're second or 32nd if you're not first?
I agree with you, Jim. Thanks for calling in.
I got it.
Hoffy, we'll have to test that phone line again and figure it out. But to add to Jim's point here, yes, the Cowboys have faltered in the playoffs, right? But it seems they have one first-round exit, and that was 2021 versus the San Francisco 49ers. 2018, they beat the Seahawks in the first round, lost to the Rams. 2016, beat the Detroit Lions, lost to the Packers. Last season, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ended Tom Brady's career, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then lost to the San Francisco 49ers. The one time the Cowboys have lost in the first round in the last 5-6 years, it was because Kellen Moore put freaking Zeke Elliott at center. Does that make any sense? Let's do a swinging, winging gate and put freaking Zeke Elliott at center. The Dallas Cowboys have a new look offense. The Dallas Cowboys are a damn good team. The Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl, baby. Face it, Jim. Face it. Ant says Dak got to play better in the playoffs too. This year's playoff will determine his future with the team. I think you are right, Ant. I mean, obviously right now Dak is playing for a contract, right? I believe he is a free agent at the end of the season. Dak is playing to be the next highest paid quarterback in the NFL. It is what it is. The next quarterback up, either you're getting the highest contract or you're getting cut. That is just the way it is. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
That is just the way it is. Who do we got? Hoffy, you're on mute, big guy. I don't know what Hoffy's doing here, but Ant, you are correctly right. Dak is playing for a contract this season. So, Hoffy, as soon as you're ready, go ahead and bring him off mute. Let's go through some next comments here. Over here on the old TikTok page, they said, Dallas Cowboys are the GOAT. It doesn't matter whether they lose to Philly, whether they lose to the Eagles, lose to the 49ers. I should say, go Dallas Cowboys over and over and over again. Jeez. Got some Cowboys lovers. Hoffy, are you good, or do we need to what's going on here?
I got to talk to my boss here.
All right, man. Holler at you later. All right, guys. So moving on here. We have talked enough about the Dallas Cowboys. Hang on. We just had the man, the myth, the legend pop into the chat here. We had a NFL expert pop into the chat here. We had a man that has this little computer algorithm. He calls it the supercomputer. Pop into the chat here, and that is Mr. Wayne freaking G. Wayne G says the Cowboys have to pay Dak. No alternative. Won't pick high enough to get a franchise guy, and other free agents is Cousins. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys opportunities in this year's draft, right? I believe it was the draft with Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, right? All those guys were top picks, right? All those guys, Trey Lance, etc. I believe none of them are starting right now. None of those guys are starting, but the what was it, like the 25th overall pick is starting. But the Dallas Cowboys do not have to pay Dak. I think they will pay Dak, but they do not have to pay Dak. There's a reason why they picked up Trey Lance. There is a reason why they traded for the number 4 overall pick. Is it a 4th rounder? What? There's a reason why they got Trey Lance. Whether it's some type of contract dispute with Dak Prescott moving forward, whether it's some type of this or that, like, the Dallas Cowboys have options. And to be totally honest, Kirk Cousins to the Dallas Cowboys does not sound that bad. Does not sound that bad. There's also going to be some other free agents out there. Zach Wilson. Could you mold Zach Wilson into being your guy? I said it yesterday. I think the reason why quarterbacks like Zach Wilson is failing because they don't know how to develop a guy, right? Put him on the Dallas Cowboys, franchise tag Dak, and see what happens, right? There are other options out there. Hell, Sam Darnold. When we talk about system quarterbacks, right, I think Dak Prescott is a system quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He fits the system very, very well. Basically, all you got to do is nickel and dime down the field and throw it deep when you need to. Right? That's what the offense is. Run, pass, throw it deep to CeeDee Lamb. Trey Lance could do that. Zach Wilson could do that. Kirk Cousins does that very, very well year after year after year. But let me put a wild card out there. Miami Dolphins have a backup quarterback by the name of Skylar Thompson from the Kansas State University. Just saying. It is what it is. And says they really don't have to pay him. They could do a sign and trade with another team or develop Lance. Sign and trades are very, very rare in the NFL, Ant. I cannot think of a last time somebody has signed and trade, because when you sign and trade, now that team is stuck to that contract and they got to eat all that money, right? It happens very, very rarely. Now, if Dak Prescott, let's play hypothetically here, right? Let's be devil's advocate. If the Dallas Cowboys do not get a deal done with Dak Prescott, they can franchise tag him. That's going to probably cost you, I don't know what the franchise tag is for the quarterbacks going next year, but let's say it's $80 million, right? It's not going to be that much, but like $45 million, right? Let's say they tag him, $45 million. Dak Prescott plays out of his mind again, right? Plays out of his mind. MVP, Super Bowl, right? They can't figure out a contract again. At this particular point, Trey Lance has been in the system for 2 years, right? Franchise tag him again. If Trey Lance isn't ready, franchise tag him one more time. That also gives you 2 years to draft, right? Maybe Bo Nix falls down to you. Maybe I don't know, you find somebody like a Brock Purdy in the 7th round, right? Maybe, just maybe. The Dallas Cowboys have plenty of time to figure out their quarterback situation if they don't sign Dak. It is what it is. And this guy just got blocked. Just got blocked. And don't be clicking on that link. That's totally spam. You know that, right? Moving on. If he does get traded, what team do you think would get him? I don't think the Dallas Cowboys would trade Dak Prescott. They would just let him test free agency, and then they'll get a conditional pick or whatever it is. Be like a second round or third round conditional pick. I'm not for sure how that all works. I should probably do some research to see how that works. But I do not think he gets traded. But if you want to play that route, the Dallas Cowboys sign him for what is the tag where you get the franchise tag and some other team can like match it or something like that, and you get to choose whatever that. I think it's a non-exclusive. No, it's not. It's an exclusive tag, right? But a team that would fit Dak Prescott, right? Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs is not the answer. I have not seen enough of their rookie to determine whether he is going to be a game changer or not. A team like the Seattle Seahawks, a team like the Chicago Bears could make a play, right? If they don't get Caleb Williams, because I think Justin Fields is gone. But a wild card here, a team like the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals want to move on from Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is basically playing for the next team at this particular point. So if a trade were to happen, I think an apples to apples trade straight up would be Kyler Murray for a Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott would do great in Arizona, and I think Kyler Murray would be successful in Dallas. I think you're right there, Ann. I think it is called an exclusive tag, but it is what it is. Wayne G says the Lions. The Lions would be a great fit for Dak Prescott. Dak would be an upgrade over Jared Goff. However, let's not forget, Wayne G, they just activated Hendon Hooker off the IR. They still have that rookie, highly sought out rookie. He was a first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was a first round pick. Hendon Hooker, but I don't think that the Detroit Lions are going to move on from Jared Goff, because I think the Detroit Lions are going to make some noise in the postseason. I think they're going to make it to an NFC Championship game, right? I think they're going to, be biting kneecaps come to playoff times. I really think they're going to be able to turn it on and turn it, get that killer instinct back in the Detroit Lions fan base there. Now, if they do that, Jared Goff, I think, will stay there. Now, if they are a first round exit, right, and they get blown out by, I don't know, let's say the Cowboys. Let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just play they're playing the Cowboys, right? They get blown out. Jared Goff could go to Dallas because he is a free agent at the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He might have 1 year left, like a opt-in option. But Hendon Hooker is the future. Hendon Hooker is the future in Detroit. Who was the last quarterback they drafted? As in who, John? The Detroit Lions' last quarterback that they drafted was Hendon Hooker. The Dallas Cowboys' last quarterback that they drafted that's playing right now is Dak Prescott. They did draft a backup. I don't know his name. Was it Cooper Rush? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. But let's get into some more NFL talk here, some more games. We had the Denver Broncos taking on the LA Chargers. This game has got a lot of playoff implications in it, right? If the Chargers lose this game, I think they're out of the playoffs. There's no chance they're going to rebound from this loss to the Denver Broncos. And if the Broncos win, I feel like they are in control of their own destiny. I feel like this game is very, very important on both teams. But who is it more important for? I think it's more important for the Denver Broncos. It is more important for the Denver Broncos to prove that their 5 wins in a row wasn't a fluke. that their 5 wins in a row was them actually playing good competitive football. Last week they kind of shit the bed. Let's just be honest. They kind of shit the bed against the Texans. Come out sluggish, kind of like, what's going on, right? They need a nice little rebound win. Because it seems like every time the Denver Broncos come together, everything starts to click in, right? They need this win. The Denver Broncos need this win more. That puts them up at, 8 wins on the season? Is it 7 wins? Let me. I can't read my handwriting because I was in a hurry writing this Denver Broncos thing. So that puts them at 7 wins on the season. Squarely in the playoff hunt. Chargers lose. I think they're out. Guys, let me know who needs this win more. Denver Broncos or the LA Chargers. Ant says, I got the Broncos winning. It is at LA, so the Broncos will have home field advantage, right? Because nobody likes to go to LA games for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they don't. But the LA Chargers, let me ask you guys this question. Hypothetically, if you wanted to get somebody in a leadership role fired, you want to get your boss fired, you want to get your team lead fired, right? What do? You underperform at said job, right? You underperform at your job and it looks bad on the leader of the shift or the crew or the department or the store, right? It looks bad on them. I truly think that the Los Angeles Chargers want their head coach out. I think they want Brandon Staley out of town very, very much so. Whether it's Kellen Moore being the head coach, whether they bring in a guy like Eric Bieniemy, I think they want Brandon Staley out of town. I think they want him out of town. So, with that being said, I think they're going to underperform. I think the Chargers are going to purposely underperform because, let's just be honest, they're at 5-6 right now, or 5-7 on the season. This win will if they were to beat the Broncos, it only gives them 6 wins. They'll need a lot of help to get into the playoffs. It's like a 20% chance. Not very good. Like at one point, or at some point, you just realize, like, hey, we're just not a very good team. And I think the Chargers players see that. I think the Chargers are going to underperform this game. And I think they're going to purposely possibly play bad to get their coach out of town. The Chargers need an intervention like the Las Vegas Raiders did when they got Josh McDaniels out of town. Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, those boys need to get the team together and have a, quote, air it out session and get Stanley out of town. But I'm with you, Ant. I think the Broncos have the advantage. I think the Broncos had everything clicking for them. The Broncos are playing for the playoff lives. But I think the Chargers upset them. For whatever reason, the Chargers are just like the Steelers. Every time you write the Chargers off, write the Steelers off, write the Bengals off, bada bing, bada boom, the next week they're winning versus a top team in the AFC. I think the Chargers do get the upset. Wayne G says 2 versus Chargers. Raiders, Pats, Lions. They have to go 4-1 to end the season. They do. Broncos have a lot of work to do. Excuse me. Wayne G asked the question, do they go hard after Harbaugh or Bieniemy? I think Bieniemy embarked to replace Rivera, but Chargers is a better job. So we are talking about the LA Chargers job here, and they're possibly, if Staley was to go elsewhere, right? If if Stanley were to get fired, I think there's a reason why they signed Kellen Moore when he was fired for like 15 minutes, right? The ink dried on the Cowboys' pink slip, and he was hired by the LA Chargers. There's a reason for that. I think Kellen Moore is the future head coach in LA. I don't think Eric Bieniemy wants to be in Washington. I don't think Eric Bieniemy wants to lead the Commanders in any way, shape, or form. I think Eric Bieniemy is going to go to the Chicago Bears. I think Matt Eberflus and that whole system is out. The reason why I say that, because the Bears have a history with Ryan Poles and Eric Bieniemy, both at the Kansas City Chiefs a couple years ago, right? So I think Eric Bieniemy gets hired as a head coach finally as the Chicago Bears, and we'll see why many teams have passed on him many before, because he's not built to be a head coach. Now, as far as Harbaugh, I believe you're referring to Jim Harbaugh with the Michigan, right? I don't know if Jim Harbaugh would be sought out by the Chicago Bears or the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh would go to a team like the Jets, because I think Robert Sala's gone after this season. I think Jim Harbaugh would go to a team like the are the New York Giants on the hot seat? I think Jim Harbaugh goes to a team that is on a surprise firing spree if he decides to go to the NFL. If he decides to go to the NFL. And says Eric Bieniemy would have been a great fit, especially with the Chargers being the same division as the Chiefs. And let me tell you something. Eric Bieniemy was passed over by at least 6 head coaching opportunities. He wasn't even called back for a second interview on any of them. Eric Bieniemy is not a bad offensive coordinator. Not a bad quarterback coach. There's a reason why teams passed on Eric Bieniemy over and over and over again. There is a reason why he took a lateral move to go to the Washington Commanders to prove that it wasn't all Andy Reid, right? Well, guess what? It's looking like it all was Andy Reid. The Commanders are not very good at all. Not very good at all. Eric Bieniemy is not going to be a very good head coach in the NFL. Now, he might surprise the hell out of us. He might bring that it factor. Who knows? Hoffy, welcome back. Do you think I got to re-add you? Damn it. Give me a second. Hoffy, do you think Eric Bieniemy will be a good head coach?
No, I do not. I think basically, like you said, I mean, that offense that he was running at Kansas City was a lot to do with Andy Reid more so than it was Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, so Jameson is in the chat, and he says the Commanders are going to fire everyone. The Chargers are as well. The Patriots should as well. Fire everybody, right? And then Ant says the
Patriots fire Bill Belichick. Who out there, though, is a better coach? That would be worth.
I've heard everybody throw out the name O.J. Mayo or something just like that.
He was a linebacker for the Patriots. He is a Bill Belichick. So we're gonna fire a Bill Belichick to hire a non-proven Bill Belichick,
a younger Bill, a younger coach, right? It's like, so.
I don't think the coach is the issue. I think it's him as a GM.
No, here is the issue that I think that Bill Belichick has, right? At some point, what makes Andy Reid so successful, even though him and Bill Belichick are the same age, is that Andy Reid can relate to his players, right? Andy Reid is doing those commercials, hanging out with his players. Like he is legitimately excited for his team when they win. Do you ever watch the videos of Andy Reid on TikTok, like after the game, and they come in and they're like, "How about them Chiefs?" Right? Like the players love playing for Andy Reid. I don't think anybody on the New England Patriots right now love playing for Bill Belichick, and I think that is one of the biggest issues. Is like he is so stone faced. He is just so like old school mentality, like I can't hang out with you because it just like, and nobody likes that.
I mean, in all the interviews, everyone's saying how much they love Bill Belichick and love playing for him. But there was that play yesterday where they handed it off to the tight end, and he tried to throw the ball at the 1 yard line or whatever for that touchdown.
Yeah,
and the player, Wilson batted it down and ran up the sideline and tried to give Belichick like a high five, and he gave him one of those like what the fuck? And then they said it best after the game as he's walking into the locker room. There's like, oh, there goes Bill Belichick looking like he just lost. So
yeah, maybe
he was unhappy because they won and he was trying to lose, but I think it was quite obvious from his reactions on the sidelines when they got that the turnover that sealed the game, basically, that he was happy to win, but
that was the first time I've seen Bill Belichick smile in a very, very long time. And
other than a Super Bowl victory, he doesn't smile.
Right. Well, but like, so winning cures all, right? So you and me could hate each other, but as long as we are winning games, that can wait, right? But if we lose, like a guy will be like, Hoffy, you suck. You've been hit up the middle all season long, and like you've been getting out every time. Like, figure yourself out. Like, it just like but when we're winning and I still hate you, like, oh, good hit up the middle, man. Good job. It just like winning cures all. And right now the Patriots are not winning, so therefore the players are kind of rebelling in the old school way. They're like, they see coaches like D'Amico Ryans jumping up and chest bumping his players. They see Andy Reid on commercials, right? They see player. We live in a generation where we see those things, and I think the Bill Belichick effect has taken its course, and it's time to move on, honestly. And I don't think Jim Harbaugh would be the answer. You need a up-and-coming young coach that is going to bring some fire into the Patriots.
I think Jim Harbaugh would benefit a team such as the Chargers. I know that he's talked highly about, Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks and whatnot. But I think it would have to be going to the Chargers, or it would have to be going to the Bears, where they draft someone like Caleb Williams, and he's coming in with the quarterback of his choice. But
right,
I think those are the only two teams that would benefit from having a coach like Jim Harbaugh.
Honestly, a great coach for the New England Patriots would be the Cowboys defensive coordinator. What's his name? He was he was a head coach for the Falcons for a few years, got fired. He was defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. What is his name?
I don't want anything to do with Mr. 28-3.
What are you talking about?
He was part of the Falcons when was he the head coach, or he was the head coach of the Falcons when we smacked him in the playoffs.
People love playing for that guy, though. What is his name?
I can't believe we can't think of his name, but I'm going to pull it up here.
Quinn. Dan Quinn. People love playing for that guy. Like, he has his hat on backwards. He is excited to see his players to be successful. That is what the Patriots need, is the extreme polar opposite. Mr. Clean cut, Mr. Slacks in a polo shirt to like work, into slides, backwards hat, and cut off sweatpants. That's what the Patriots need. Dan Quinn. Hoffy, we're getting to the end of the show. We didn't talk about the Colts or the Bengals. We didn't talk about the Chiefs or Bills. But those are some big games coming up as well. But let's go ahead and go through some pick'ems here real quick, Hoffy. This is straight off the top of the dome. Obviously, you can change your picks when you do your bets, but Bucks versus Falcons. Who do you got? Bucks. You know what? I've been on the Bucks train for a very, very long time. I thought the Bucks were going to the NFC South. Baker Mayfield, you're still my dog. Falcons win. Lions versus Bears. Who do you got?
The Lions.
And I'm picking the Bears, baby.
Oh,
Justin
no.
Fields goes down in the first quarter. He gets benched, throwing like 3 interceptions. Bench that man. Tyson Bagent comes in, leads them to the promised land. Let's go. Colts versus Bengals. Who do you got?
Bengals.
This is the game that I wanted to talk about. Because if the Bengals lose this game, I feel like they are out of the playoff picture. I think the Colts have to win this game because that would give them 8 wins on the season and squarely into that wild card spot. The Colts are going to come in there and they're going to know that they're going to have to win. They're going to be playing tight butthole in that game. I think the Bengals pull it out somehow, some way with the Jake Browning. Carolina Panthers taking on the Saints. Who do you got?
Saints.
I'm taking the Panthers. I think Derek Carr's course has run his time in New Orleans. I've seen a GoFundMe page for fans paying the dead cap hit on Derek Carr on the Saints. They don't like him, Derek Carr, right now. I want to pick the Panthers, but I'm going to switch it and go to Saints. Texans taking on the Jets. Who do you got?
Texans.
I'm taking the Jets. I think the Jets pull it out. Zach Wilson's starting, baby. The man, the myth, the legend's back.
Oh, this is the chance for the Texans to take control of the AFC South, baby.
It is a chance, and they're going to shit the bed because Zach
Clap
Wilson's
those
going to throw
cheeks.
4 tutties. Not 1, not 2, not
no.
3, but 4 tutties. 4 tutties from the
They're
New
going
York
to
Jets.
clap them cheeks.
This is a game that's very, very intriguing. The Rams take on the Baltimore Ravens at Baltimore. Who do you got?
Oh, yeah, real intriguing. Baltimore.
It is very intriguing because the Rams are battling for their playoff lives. Right now, they're 7th seed. They need to win this win. But I do think the Ravens, off a bye week, come in and beat down the Rams. Vikings versus the Raiders.
Give me the Raiders.
I like the Raiders too. Vikings 5-game winning streak was all a fluke. They are done. Seattle taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Who do you got?
49ers.
Is it hard to pick against the 49ers? 49ers are clicking on all cylinders right now. They're looking pretty damn good. Give me the 49ers.
Don't do it.
Buffalo Bills
Okay.
taking on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chief Kingdom, baby.
Chiefs Kingdom Reds Friday it is. The Kansas City Chiefs have to win this game. This is a must-win game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do think they come out and play with a sense of urgency finally and win that game. Denver Broncos taking on the Chargers. We just talked about this. Who do you got?
Denver Broncos, because I want Staley fired.
And I think somehow, some way, the Chargers pull it out. Every time we write them off, they come back from the freaking dead. Sunday Night Football, baby. Sunday Night Football. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you got?
Philly.
And I'm taking... See this, Hoffy? See this? The Dallas Cowboys, baby. Let's go. Settle up because we about to ride those birds. Ride it, ride it, ride it.
I
We
hope
out.
you do.
I hope they do. We have 2 Monday night games happening. We'll talk about those Monday night, but we got the Titans taking on the Miami Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers taking on the New York Football Giants. We're not going to pick those games, but what game are you going to watch this weekend, Hoffy?
All of them.
All of them. The must game watch for me.
8 screens. 8 screens up. All 8 games at once, baby.
That is tough. I will give you some ecstasy so you can really enjoy it. But I am watching the Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Cleveland Browns. We did not pick that game. Who do you got in that one?
That's gonna be a freaking shit show. Give me the Browns.
And I'm picking a tie. We out.